Okay, so now we are moving on to probability. This is our third video, and we are moving on to probability, and we got to do some explaining about the basics of probability. So, as usual, we got to start with our special software to get that tablet going. So here we go with that. We need Smooth Draw, and we should have it right behind the screen. There it is. Okay, so what I need to do is as follows: is that I go get that pencil. The pencil is what I'm interested in here. And no, not the pen, the pencil. Can we get it? Yeah, there we go. All right, so here we go. So it's probability. There's some vocabulary that we've got to take care of if we're going to be talking about the basics of probability. And so let me just put as our heading probability. And the special vocabulary that we got to care about. No, I wanted the pencil here. This one is too thick. Can I get the pencil? Yeah. So probability, and the vocabulary that I need to tell you about is that in the probability, the way they term it, in the fancy way they put it, is they call it that we're going to do an experiment. I'm doing an experiment. And you'll see the type of experiments we're talking about. Many of them are gambling problems. So it's an experiment. And then within that experiment, there's something called a sample space. Right? Just let me put down the vocabulary first and give me a chance to explain. So our first case that I want to talk about, the experiment that I want to talk about. We want to talk about a few different situations. But the first experiment I want to talk about is when you are just going to do heads or tails with one coin. So our experiment is to throw down one coin on the table, one coin being thrown on the table or flipped on the table, however you want to put it, one coin. Let's say it's a quarter. And the sample space is all the possible outcomes. Sample space, the definition of sample space is all the possible outcomes of that experiment. There's the key. Basically 3 words. All possible outcomes of the experiment. That's what this strange vocabulary word sample space is referring to. All possible outcomes. So what can happen if you throw down a coin on a table? Here's what can happen. You can either get heads or tails. That's it. Nothing more special than that. Okay, let's continue with the more illustrations, because the more you see, the clearer it'll be for you. And here's a second situation. What if the experiment is that we throw 2 coins on the table, or flip 2 coins, and have them land on the table? 2 coins. So the sample space is going to be all the possible outcomes of throwing 2 coins on a table. What can happen? Here's what can happen. You can have both of them being heads. Let's say the 2 coins, one is a quarter and one is a dime. Both of them can be heads. Both of them can be tails. One of them, the quarter, let's say, could be heads, and then the dime could be tails. Or the quarter could be tails and the dime could be heads. So there's 4 possibilities if you threw 2 coins on the table. I'm choosing a quarter and a dime on purpose that we can differentiate in our mind, and we can visualize in our mind that they're 2 different things. But they could be 2 quarters. Who cares? It's still going to be 2 different coins, and both could be heads, both could be tails. The first coin could be heads, the second could be tails. The first coin could be tails, and the second could be heads. You have 4 possibilities, no matter how you slice it. The only reason I'm taking a case of a quarter and a dime is to make sure that it's very clear and different. Okay. These are all experiments. The probability got off the ground by people thinking about gambling and gambling problems and what the probability they would be for them to win, etc. So it's somewhat ironic. It's somewhat sort of logical that we're going to be using gambling type of experiments to illustrate probability. But here comes the next case. What if you're throwing one die? There's one die is singular and two dice. So you're throwing one die. Let's give it a color. One die on the table, right? It happens to be, let's say it's blue. Okay, what can happen when you throw one die on the table? You can either get a 1 out of it. In other words, and then you throw it on the table, and then you're going to look at it, whatever facing upwards, whatever, it's a cube. So whatever's facing upwards, that's the number that you're going to consider what you got. So whatever's facing upwards. So either facing upwards, you see a 1, or you see a 2, or you see a 3, or you see a 4, or you see a 5, or you see a 6. That is the sample space for one die on the table. Okay, now the last case is really important. It comes up a lot in various contexts. So the last case is where you throw two die on the table. Two dice on the table. Two dice on the table. All right, so there, what you can have is, you can have not just 6 possibilities when you throw two dice on the table, but you can have 36 possibilities. And what we have is over here, you can get the first die could be let's say one is red and one is blue. So the red one could be 1 and the blue one could be 1. The red one could be 1, the blue one could be 2. The red one could be 1 and the blue one could be 3. The red one could be 1, the blue one could be 4. The red one could be 1, the blue one 5. And the red one 1 and the blue one 6. And then it keeps going, and you can see where this is going. The red one could be 2 and the blue one could be 1. The red one could be 2, the blue one 2, etc., etc. This would be true of 3 and 3, 1, and then 4, 1, etc. And then I don't have enough space, and it's just not worth it to go to another, start erasing. But then it could be 5, 1, etc., etc. Add down to 5, 6, and then 6, 1, all the way to 6, 6. So that is a sample space, and here's a bunch of examples, the most important being this last 4 one. I think I'm going to devote another video to showing you that because it has to do with the word table, the vocabulary word table, and you may see some of those questions on your homework that they want you to form a table. So I will do the 2 dice in the next video. I plan on doing the 2 dice over and showing you what a table is, so you'll be ready for that when you get to in the homework. We are still dealing with homework number 7, preparations for homework number 7. Okay, so then I'm going to shut down this particular video. And like I said, hopefully we'll show you the next one in the 2 dice in number 4.